So I've got a few things that I think will translate worldwide that we learned from the Obama campaign. And I'll answer questions about the campaign. I don't work for the administration, but I worked 2 years on the campaign. And the one thing that I should say is that we learned is we experimented with everything. Facebook for us was an experiment. How do you organize people in a very small way, very locally? When we got more volunteers to show up offline in campaign offices in Iowa from Facebook, we knew that it was a very powerful tool to actually bring more people into the campaign. Twitter, and I know that there's some people from the press want to know about Barack Obama's Twitter account. Twitter was an experiment. There was less than 300,000 people on our Twitter account. It would have been silly to have a presidential candidate going out and Twittering when nobody was on Twitter. We very quickly realized that Twitter was a powerful tool of public opinion. So Twitter eventually got promoted over and over and over again on the campaign as a way that we could quickly tell people about when was Barack Obama speaking publicly. If he just made a statement, how do we put a part of the statement out and push it out to people very quickly? Most people in the US were watching Twitter from their computer, from their RSS feed, not from their telephone. So we could use live streaming video in Twitter very effectively. Barack Obama is going to be live streaming right now. Click on this link, watch a live feed. It became a very powerful tool. But not all of our experiments did well, right? Sometimes they don't do so well. Mobile was a huge experiment. Text messaging. 80% of America has a mobile phone. The other 20%, I don't know. I think everybody has a mobile phone. But downloading mobile video. We made some download videos for mobile. But that was an experiment that didn't do well. Why? Most people didn't know how to download a mobile video. iPhone wasn't that big in the US yet. The cost of the video to download the data plan cost was very expensive. So it wasn't going to be really relevant and effective for mass organizing on a political campaign. Sure, we gave little pieces of speech and you could download the video and you could watch it. But those people, we could get you much easier through your internet, we could get them to the TV. So what we learned on this was that, okay, text messaging works really well. Lots of people know how to use it, we can move information. Twitter works really well. Lots of people use it, we can move a lot of information. But be honest, not everything works so well. But don't be afraid to experiment. Today, Twitter is a completely different object. This is Barack Obama's Twitter. There's 3 million people following Barack Obama's Twitter. That's Obama Organizing for America, the new organization. The White House has their own Twitter. You can follow the White House's Twitter account. But Twitter has changed into a more personal tool. So here's a U.S. Senator from Missouri, Claire McCaskill, who uses Twitter to actually herself talk directly one-to-one. Now we're going to see more and more politicians using Twitter to talk directly one-to-one. We know that it's her. I worked with some famous musicians who also are interested in using Twitter to connect with their fans. You don't necessarily get to listen to a U.S. Senator talk about how she has to cook for her kids or she doesn't want to get up early in the morning and go to the gym. I've never heard a politician talk like this until I watched Claire McCaskill's Twitter account. And now I feel connected with her. So what I've learned is, by watching her, I start getting how she's making her opinions when she's fighting for legislation. Very, very different use of Twitter. Social networks. We didn't do one social network as a strategy. We organized in all the social networks that we could figure out and that we could manage. So the U.S. is a very segmented population. African Americans, Latino Americans, gay and lesbians, environmentalists, different organizations. And so we have Facebook and MySpace and Twitter, you all know. But you may not know is Black Planet. Black Planet is 10 million African Americans organized. It's older than MySpace. It's one of the oldest social networks out there. Eventful. Anybody here know Eventful? Anybody use Eventful? So very few people. This is Eventful worldwide. So if you remember Barack Obama speaking in Berlin job was to organize in the US. But the advanced team comes to you and says, hey, we're going to go do an event over in Europe. Who do we have? We had thousands of people self-organize on eventful.com, on Facebook, on MySpace, on Orchid. They could go and produce hundreds of thousands of people for a rally without any cost to the campaign. So what this tool does is it organizes within 50, maybe 100 kilometers of your house. So when an event happens, you can learn about it. My next quick lesson is use deadlines. So you all watched 50-some states primaries. It was very long. We apologize. We didn't like going through that many primaries either. But every one of those we used as research and development. We tried figuring out what could we learn in that election that would help us be smarter about doing the next election. So while you watch 18 months of elections, know that our campaign built and grew over those 18 months. So we didn't start text messaging in August of the election year. We started text messaging the year before in South Carolina with Oprah Winfrey. Did a big rally, 30,000 people come to a football stadium. How do you get their information in? Well, we used text messaging to do that. We thought instead of having people stand there with clipboards and write in your email address, and then have the kids in the campaign office go and translate the email addresses, and half of them you can't read, and then if it rains, the paper get wet. This is silly. Let's just have people text in. And then what we did is we asked them to take action. We texted out to them and said, come back to the campaign office a week later. And they did. And that's how we started text messaging. Then we used it in other states. The same is true with early voting. In the U.S., this is a little bit more geeky, but in the U.S., not every state votes the same way. Some states you're allowed to vote 30 days before the election. Well, for young voters, it's very hard. You're working 2 jobs, you're trying to figure things out. You may have kids, it rains, snows. So if we can figure out a way to do early voting by text messaging, hey, tell your friends to go vote early. Let people know where those voting locations are. Call a phone number to find out where you can early vote near you. And once we figured that out, then we rolled it out to the rest of the campaign. So those deadlines were very important. Date deadlines, rally deadlines, very event specific. And this piece I think is actually worldwide. Allow consumers to engage. Something that a lot of political campaigns and a lot of businesses don't like doing. Both of these images up here, the will.i.am YouTube video, our campaign had nothing to do with. If you don't believe me, think about when that video was made. People see this video? Yeah, you know this video? Most people? Some people. 30 million views. The most seen video of Barack Obama's political campaign was not made by the campaign. The video was of a losing speech. It was his New Hampshire primary speech that Barack Obama says, yes, I can. Yes, we can. Over and over again. will.i.am from the Black Eyed Peas goes and makes this video. People put it out. Now our campaign had 2 choices. We could just leave it alone and let people put it out there, or we could embrace it and say, look, people are excited about this. You should go make your own video.